Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lynn Stevens. I'm with the Ohio Department of Transportation in the Division of Small Business and External Workforce Development. We're very happy that you joined us today for our third webinar in our series we're entitling the Ohio Transportation Symposium Small Business and Workforce Development Series. And today our topic is local, state, and federal upcoming contract bid opportunities. And as to get things started, I'll go ahead and do an introduction of ODOT. I'll introduce our speakers and you'll hear from them individually, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. Again, this is a webinar series. We started in May 5th, and we will go until September 29th on various topics of importance to the transportation industry, but to the construction industry as well. You are welcome to click on the QR code there, so it'll take you to the link so you can see more in detail about the workshops we have upcoming. And the link is up there as well. Next slide, please. ODOT's mission. As you know, ODOT, we are responsible for maintaining our state infrastructure, the highway infrastructure. We support that highway system and we promote transportation initiatives statewide. Our mission is to provide a transportation system that is safe, accessible, well-maintained, and positioned for the future. And just for your information, we are more than $3 billion a year enterprise, and then we invest most of those dollars into system preservation through maintenance, construction, and snow and ice operations. In our division here, we have 3 offices. We're led by Deborah Green, our Deputy Director. Our first office is the Office of Small Business Services. So they handle all things related to certification, support services, on-the-job training, workforce development, Title VI of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and ADA issues. Our Office of Contractor Compliance, led by Katie LaPlace, is responsible for prevailing wage, certified payroll, prompt payment, setting the goals on our projects, DBE and SBE reporting, good faith efforts, commercially useful function monitoring. In our final office of outreach, which I lead a team of 4 outreach managers, we are a liaison for those interested in doing business with ODOT or are doing business with ODOT. We hold webinars, workshops, events. We have one-on-one meetings as well. And we monitor some of the DBE and EDGE development goals on our projects. So consider us a resource. Uh, we have 4 outreach managers on our team, starting with Michelle Newman in Northwest Ohio, with managing ODOT Districts 1, 2, and 3. We have Tony Perry Gillespie, our Southwest Regional Outreach Manager, overseeing ODOT's Districts 7, 8, and 9. Jennifer Christ, our Northeast Regional Outreach Manager, managing ODOT Districts 4, 11, and 12. And Lorraine Stevens, our Central and Southeast Regional Outreach Manager, managing Districts 5, 6, and 10. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions on doing business with ODOT. We have 3 speakers for today's webinar. We will begin with our City of Columbus representative, Ms. DaWanna Allen, Executive Advisor, Supplier Development Coordinator. Next, we'll hear from James Yagodich, Training Academy Manager with the Office of Procurement Services at Ohio Department of Administrative Services. And finally, we will hear from Ms. Karen Wivell, Associate Director of Central Ohio's Ohio Apex Accelerator at Ohio University. All right, so our first speaker again will be Ms. DaWanna Allen. She is the City of Columbus Mayor's Office of Diversity and Inclusion. She has many years of public service as a business professional implementing business strategies, programs, and supplier development initiatives. In her current position, she is responsible for executing objectives and best practices to reduce barriers for underrepresented business communities. Her responsibilities include building strong internal and external relationships, serving as an industry expert to internal and external stakeholders, facilitating outreach and engagement activities, identifying opportunities for certifiable firms to do business with the City of Columbus, and advocating for the growth and economic inclusion of small, minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses. Her experiences include public and corporate relations, business development, financial reporting, contract and compliance, grant compliance, and broad community engagement. So with that, I will turn things over to Ms. DaWanna Allen.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Good afternoon, everyone. As explained, my name is DaWanna Allen with the City of Columbus, Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and I am here to assist you in navigating our vendor registration and the bidding process with the City of Columbus. Next slide. Meet the supplier development team. The supplier development team oversees the supplier development program for the City of Columbus. Their dedicated efforts focus on executing objectives to reduce barriers, promote fairness in public contracting, and support small regional businesses. The team consists of Tia Roseborough, manager, myself, DaWanna Allen, coordinator, Taylor Davis, our certification specialist, and Aaron Powell, the B2G management system specialist. And we'll get into what B2G is later in the presentation. Registering to do business with the City of Columbus. The very first stop to register to do business with the city is through our vendor services portal. There will be some additional communications sent after the presentation to help navigate vendor services, but just to give you an idea of where you will start, there is a login page at the top of the, or I'm sorry, a login button at the top of the page that will have you sign in as a vendor. Our type of vendor opportunities includes materials, supplies, and equipment, service contracts, professional services, as well as construction. There is a comprehensive vendor guide and resource center available. And we have the direct contact email for vendor services. And again, all of this information will be shared after the presentation because there's a lot of steps depending on if you have never been a vendor with the City of Columbus or if you are a previous vendor that haven't registered in a while. So you will definitely need to view the vendor guidance and resources, as well as having that email for vendor services if you have any questions. For your vendor registration, there are numerous requirements, but the three things that stand out the most for vendors, you would need to upload your tax ID or EIN number, a copy of your W-9 form, as well as identifying and listing your company's products, services, and capabilities using two different coding systems. And this is very important. I'll go into the reasons why shortly, but you will need to utilize the UNSPSC code as well as the NAICS code systems for easier business connections. These coding systems, both coding systems, will identify what you do, and this allows other entities that are looking for those type of services and capabilities to identify you based on that information. This is very important to your vendor profile, as not only does it identify the things that you do, but it also allows if there are any opportunities through the City of Columbus that match your vendor profile, the vendor services system will email you directly based on the codes that you have listed. So again, as robust as you can be in your vendor profile, not just with the City of Columbus, but with any agency, is very important to always update your codes and make sure you are utilizing both systems. The last step to doing business with the City of Columbus is completing the contract compliance questionnaire. It is an automatic questionnaire with less than 10 questions, but it is something that you must complete before your vendor registration is complete with the City of Columbus. A lot of businesses miss this final step, And until you complete that step, you will not be given a vendor ID number to begin to bid on Columbus contracts. We would also like to note that your business profiles are self-managed by each vendor. So all of this required information on the checklist will occasionally need to be updated by you as the vendor to remain active in our vendor services portal. If anything is outdated, you will have stand the chance of, if you are lucky enough to have a contract awarded, it will stop payment if there's updates that are needed. So you always want to make sure all of your information is current in vendor services. Slide. Construction pre-qualification. This step is very necessary and important for any vendor that is ready to bid on construction-related contracts. So for a prime bidder, as well as a subcontractor in the trades that are listed, construction pre-qualification is required with the City of Columbus. This is a requirement for any construction contract that exceeds $500,000 or more. And again, it is required for not only the prime contractor, but the subcontractors in the trades of heating, ventilation and air conditioning, refrigeration, electrical, plumbing, hydronic fire protection, and firefighting equipment. Your pre-qualification information and application is going to be found on our Department of Finance's website. And we do ask that you allow at least 30 days, 30 calendar days from the date of receipt for your application to be processed. Again, this is very important. You do not want construction pre-qualification to be something that holds you up from being an eligible vendor. So you do have to already be construction pre-qualified when an opportunity arises that is in the construction related field. And again, I can't stress enough, all of the information will be sent to you after the call because there's going to be a lot of information and a lot of links that you would need. Next slide. Are you interested in becoming or looking for a certified business with the City of Columbus? This is that B2G system that we spoke of earlier, that Aaron Powell is our direct contact to help you navigate the B2G system. With the B2G system, you can register to become a certified business with the City of Columbus. You can also search for a certified business. This is a certified business directory. You are able to also use the calendar to look up any events. It also has a direct link to our vendor services portal. So there's going to be several different activities within that B2G Now system that is available to you as a vendor. As far as searching the directory, number one, login or registration is not required. You can just go strictly to search certified business, and you can search the business either by the commodity code, a keyword or industry search, or by the business name. So the B2G compliance and data software management system is used to not only certify your business, but search the City of Columbus's directory. And if you are a certified business with us, any enhancements that you would like to do to your profile, as far as uploading and updating your capability statement, adding logos, adding testimonies, any additional information that helps your profile stand out and become more attractive and visible to our buyers and the prime community out there, I would suggest you go through that system, update your profile, and there's a lot of different opportunities to, again, make it your own. It's your own marketing tool, and the better, more descriptive information that is in your actual profile, the easier it is for businesses to locate you. Business certification with the City of Columbus. Certifications include MBE certification for minority business, Women Business Enterprise certification, WBE. Our emerging business enterprise means that you are a minority or a woman-owned business, but that you are outside of the Columbus, Ohio region, so that you are still certifiable, but it's just that you are outside of our district. We also certify veteran-owned businesses as well as the LGBT, business enterprise. Benefits of certification include identification and branding as a certified business, being listed in our City of Columbus Business Directory, as well as access to special program initiatives, matchmaking, networking, and training opportunities. And before we go, we have added a new certification opportunity. This is our Small Regional Business Enterprise, known as our SRBE program. This is a separate certification from your certifications that are listed at the top. So before I move on to the Small Regional Business Program, I will just say, if you identify with any of the certifications that are listed at the top of the presentation, it is one certification application, and you would just check mark every box that you identify with. That is only for those certification programs listed at the top. The Small Regional Business Enterprise Program is a new program, and it is a separate certification application. And again, it will be shared with you all, but the specific benefit to being recognized as an SRBE with the City of Columbus. We will be setting contract utilization goals solely based on City of Columbus SRBE certified programs. So if there's no other incentive to see if you qualify as an SRBE, the contract participation goals will only be set on if you are a City of Columbus SRBE. And again, the program requirements as well as documents will all be shared. The incentives will also include SRBEs will be eligible for our certified small regional business incentive credit and or bid discount. If you were to bid with the City of Columbus as a prime bidder, you would receive an incentive credit or bid discount based on being a City of Columbus SRBE. We also will have an anticipated sheltered market program where only the City of Columbus certified SRBEs will be eligible to participate. Bid strategies with the City of Columbus. I would just say for any bidder, whether you are new to bidding with the City of Columbus or really anyone else, I can't stress some of these bid tips. I can't stress it enough. Attend information sessions. It sounds very easy and something that is just should be common, but some people really do miss the opportunity to attend the information sessions. Information sessions are your opportunity in a more relaxed environment to meet some of the teams, hear more about the projects, and possibly meet other individuals in the room who may be interested in participating. To see what type of bids are available, view the bid list, message boards, and firms who have also viewed the documents. Again, this is an opportunity to become strategic, to see if possibly there's an opportunity to partner up, as well as making the connections with the prime and subcontracting community. Participate in outreach events to make those connections and assist with establishing prime and subcontractor relationships. And I also stress to prepare for upcoming and future bid opportunities by not only researching the open bid opportunities, but the closed bid solicitations as well. The closed solicitations will allow you the opportunity to see what type of solicitations were out and when they are set to expire and may come up again for a rebid. I also suggest that you view the published department capital improvement budget and project plans that are available on our Department of Finance website. Each City of Columbus department will have their capital improvement budget and project plans listed. And I also suggest that you follow the City of Columbus departments of interest on their website and social media platforms. Other bid tips: responding to a bid. Follow the procedures and timelines. You don't want a simple mistake to be something that causes your bid to be tossed out or deemed non-responsive. I'm showing my age when I say RIF, reading is fundamental. Read the proposal, ask questions during the Q&A period, and review the responses. Most of the RFPs will have a specific question and answer time period. And again, don't be afraid to ask a question. The questions are published publicly. Read the other questions that were asked, as well as the responses to help you navigate and respond to your bid more effectively. You must also possess all special licenses, certification, and all other requirements prior to the bid due date. Again, this goes with your certification, any licenses, any pre-qualification. Do not wait until the bid is due to then start the process to try to get certified or to try to get construction pre-qualified. Obviously, you will miss the deadline. Avoid errors, omissions, and deficiencies in your proposal that will impact your evaluation scores. Spell check, Chat GPT, whatever you need to do to verify that your proposal is free of errors and is not deficient in any of the requirements. Again, these are simple little small things, but that could deem you responsive. I also encourage you to collaborate on potential teaming strategies. If you are a smaller firm or you're not used to bidding on larger projects, consider teaming with someone to make your impact larger, to enhance your capacity. Again, it's just a good strategy. A lot of the larger firms do so as well. When there's certain contracts that you wish to go after and you know you can only do a certain portion of it, reach out to others in your market, in your field. They are not your competition always. Sometimes they're collaborating partners. And the list of upcoming bid opportunities for the City of Columbus include not only what is listed there, we have various major projects that are coming up that we will be sharing with everyone. We have a City of Columbus newsletter that if you are in our certified directory, you will receive updates, as well as if you would like to be included in any information sharing. I will get your information and be able to share any updates. But again, these are the different opportunities, not limited to what is on this list. We have 14 City of Columbus departments, so not everything is construction or engineering related. We have our Department of Neighborhoods, Department of Development, Department of Recreation and Services, just to name a few. So if you can only imagine the type of things, everyone is buying something at the City of Columbus, and we want you to be a part of our vendor portal. And again, for additional information, the City of Columbus purchasing website will give you all of the access to the information that I've shared in the presentation. We will be sharing additional information with all participants. And but just to let you know, our purchasing office, as well as the purchasing agency contacts. Again, there's 14 City of Columbus departments, so there is someone in the Department of Finance that is assigned to each department. You do want to pay close attention to who your agency contact would be. And for additional information on the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, our information is also included. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. DaWanna. Alan, appreciate this. Attendees, if you have any questions and you want to type them before you forget, there's a Q&A option at the top of your screen, right top of your screen. You can go ahead and type your questions. In the meantime, we'll go ahead with our second presenter, Mr. James Yagodich with the Ohio Department of Administrative Services. Mr. James has many years of service with the state of Ohio. Currently, he is the Training Academy Manager for the Ohio Department of Administrative Services Office of Procurement Services. His team specializes in providing technical application assistance, troubleshooting, and instructor led training opportunities for all Ohio Buys customers. So with that, we'll turn it over to you, Mr. James. Go ahead and take it away. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. Great insight there on the city of Columbus. DaWanna, I appreciate for myself hearing about that. So hopefully I can match that energy. A lot of things where you guys may have just heard, I'm going to echo that from the state of Ohio. Talk about how to do business with the state of Ohio. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to listen to us talk about this. Next slide. As most of you probably assume, this is what state government feels like at every level. There's always a maze, there's always trying to figure out the way out of it. But hopefully today, we'll be able to provide some better milestones, maybe a straighter map. Next slide. So our goal is to take that maze and kind of stretch it out and kind of give you some checkpoints. At least you know you're moving in the right direction. So what does the state buy? As you just heard, the city of Columbus buys a lot of things. Well, the state buys a lot of things too, everything from IT to vehicles to clothing to consulting services to food to pharmaceuticals to helicopters to you name it. We always try to remind everybody if your business is doing purchasing and buying things, the state's buying that on a larger scale. We provide 125 agencies, boards, and commissions with contract opportunities to utilize and purchase across the state. And we spend about $5 billion from a statewide perspective on all of our purchasing within a given year. Overall, 1.5 billion of that is our addressable spend. Those are the contract opportunities that exist that you're able to have an opportunity to get a little bit of that spend. But before we can do that, and so that you understand that, we want to talk about some quick purchasing requirements. And sometimes it feels like they're hurdles to us. And maybe those are some of the constraints that you're trying to understand. And hopefully the next few slides, as we talk through some of that structure, it'll help bring to light some of that. Purchasing requirements for us, every state agency has to purchase from a requisite procurement program across the state. If that product or service is available, those are our community rehabilitation program, our offices of Department of Ohioans with Disabilities, providing work product opportunities and experiences and job fulfillment for those businesses that are providing this service, as well as the Ohio penal industry providing services to the state agencies through the work program they have. But if those items or services or products are not available through that group, then we have to go out and look at the currently established contracts. And sometimes that's where it comes into that thought of, why is it always them? Why is it never me? We do have established contracts with that addressable spend already. So those opportunities have been out there for bidding opportunities, solicitation, and we've received those and we made decisions and we're currently under contract with those. But if there are things that we do not have currently under contract, that we don't have provided by a requisite program, then we have to go out and put something on the street. We have to put a bid out. We have to put a solicitation out, but those have to be done in a competitive selection process. And out of those competitive selection processes, we do focus on an invitation to bid, which is what we call an ITB, which very clearly specifies what we're looking for. And we're looking for the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. And overall, it's a quick process. This is something that we need one item. Maybe we need a software license, an Adobe Acrobat for instance, we need one version of that. We don't need an enterprise license. We need just one thing. So we're able to put that together, put that out there for a quick purchase, and it's a quick and easy. Once you meet the bidding price, you've responded to the solicitation, you've completed all the necessary questions that are involved, and then it comes down to the lowest price. Whoever provides that, the state will be purchasing that. But on the flip side, those requests for proposals, the RFPs, are usually specifications not clearly defined, because what we're looking for is you as the supplier, the vendor, to provide that good or service within that, give us an answer what we're looking for. We may not understand what we're looking for. We may be knowing what we're looking for, but we just need to have some other thoughts and input on that process. Those RFPs are scored responses where we go through a consensus team that reviews that, weighs in on the technical side, weighs in on the price, as well as making sure that's the best fit for the state of Ohio. And as the RFPs, those are best value. You may see sometimes price may be high, maybe low. It just depends on what the state needs to purchase for that particular good or service. We do have another competitive selection process. It's used here or there. It's really commodity sensitive. It's where we do pre-qualified suppliers, and we're looking for the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for that. And those reverse auctions have come across with Department of Transportation, Department of Public Safety, where we're looking for steel, maybe making license plates. We're looking for those particular commodities that can be afforded to fit into this. And this isn't a common thing, but the ones you would typically see are the ITBs, those are invitations to bid, and the requests for proposals. Next slide. So just kind of set the level set there. There's processes and ways we have to purchase before we can have those opportunities out to you to provide bidding on. But to do so, you need to start talking about how do you access that, creating an OHID. It's becoming pretty common within the state of Ohio to have an OHID, whether if it's tax purposes or if you have professional services and you have to be registered through the state of Ohio. Getting this established, it's very important that everyone in your business that will be working with the state of Ohio and working within our Ohio Buys platform, we'll talk a little bit more about that, will need to have an OHID. But if you're a business of one, you're the only one that has to have that OHID because that's a unique identifier for you. Now, if you have multiple people in your organization that are going to assist you in solicitation opportunities, then you're going to make sure they have their own OHID. And we'll talk about how to associate those individuals to your company profile within the Ohio Buys platform. And we talk about Ohio Buys. Ohio Buys is the state of Ohio's e-procurement software system. This is where we are putting all of our solicitations. We're managing our contracts that are a result of the solicitation. We are managing our internal requisitions, purchase, request to purchase, the purchase order, communication. We're working with all of those facets inside of this new application. And once you register your OHID, you're able to create your company profile within that. So what's important about that is that even though you have your OHID, you need to have a company profile. And within Ohio Buys, you're able to identify basic company details, your contacts. It's very important as the state of Ohio is expanding opportunities with commodity codes and focusing on those. There are certain individuals within your organization that may be taking up those opportunities to work with us, to put the bids in, or again, it maybe it's you, but it's important to create that company profile. So it also helps us understand what types of business that you do provide. And how to do that, making sure you add the contacts is the first step because you may have multiple business buildings. You may have someone that a location that builds. You may have a location that does finance. You may make sure you put the right contacts for each individual transaction. And we'll talk about some of the other additional training materials that we have to help support that, some of those activities. But once you've created a profile, you've established it, you've started to identify your contacts within that, the next step is going to be how to identify and add commodity codes. And as mentioned earlier, The state of Ohio uses UNSPSC data sets, data code sets, and that helps us identify what we're looking for, how we're notifying you. Here's a picture of the website of the UNGM, United Nations Global Marketplace. They oversee the standard products and services code that we use. It's a really easy way to kind of just understand what business you have and what codes are associated. So it'll help you populate your Ohio Buys profile much easier. The website has a search functionality in the middle of the screen, but also you can download a spreadsheet. Depends on how much time you like looking through spreadsheets. There's probably like 85,000 different codes, but the state of Ohio uses roughly 30,000. So just it's a good way to check to make sure as you're coming to your Ohio Buys profile and you're looking at this screen, and this is what it looks like, making sure you have the commodity codes that assign what your business do to those goods and services. Because mentioned earlier, the city of Columbus, state of Ohio, much like that, by registering and having your profile, your commodities are going to help us know who's a part of the specific group that we need to send out solicitations to automatically. So it's very important as your business grows or pulls back, you're always updating your commodity code information because you'll get notified of opportunities via that code set. So once you've got your company profile and once you've identified all the commodity codes that make your business what your business is, you can start looking at identifying and viewing solicitations. Two ways to do that, as we just mentioned, by having the company profile in Ohio Buys and making sure you have those commodities associated to your profile, you'll get notified of every opportunity that falls within that particular commodity code set. Now, if you do not have something listed, maybe you missed something, you will not see that. But you can easily go to our public solicitations page and view the same information that anyone has ability to see that. And you do not have to be logged in. You do not have to have a password and OHID to view the public solicitations page. It's just more of an opportunity. And if you don't have your profile, you will need to come to the public solicitations page and look more often because that's where everything's going to be posted and notified publicly for all to see. Now our vendor base crosses state lines. It goes into all the other states. From Washington to Maine to Florida to California, we have suppliers registering trying to do business with the state of Ohio. So we have a vast group of suppliers. I think right now we're probably, I think 96,000 was the last number we had. So we have quite a few people in that mix. So it gives a great opportunity to make sure that you're out there being able to compete with that set of people. So what's really important within that solicitation process, you're going to need to read the state terms and conditions. And it's really important to understand what the T's and C's are, how you need to understand them and be able to meet the needs of the state's request for this bidding opportunity. So you always want to make sure you're requesting information via the Q&A section, whether you are inquiry period time, as well as reading all the instructions on the actual solicitation and submitting your proposal on time. We won't say it enough, but that it happens more times than we would like. People who miss that proposal time by a minute, by seconds. So make sure you're always trying to look ahead and make sure you get those documents and those bids submitted as soon as possible. Next slide. Good opportunity as well if you're finding an opportunity out there and as you get more involved and you put a bid in and then as you're starting to read more about the inquiry questions, the Q&A, maybe this project is more than perhaps what you thought it was going to be, you have an opportunity to withdraw that response as well as amending that. Maybe it's an opportunity, maybe you've partnered with somebody and maybe you can meet that, maybe that opportunity exists to put in a better price, a better response. You're able to manage that. You don't have to go through the whole process. You can just easily amend or withdraw that response. Next slide. So once that response has been submitted, once you've made that determination to provide that, the state agency analysts will look at that. They'll review all the bids that have been received at the due time with all the necessary documents. They will review that. They'll make a determination of that evaluation. Some of those evaluations, as I mentioned, the RFP, it may go through a consensus meeting, multiple sessions to review the technical proposal, maybe to get an actual scored number. Then we'll look at the pricing, scored individually, and then we'll take an overall approach to make sure we're making the best value. But if it's something as an ITB, that one-time purchase we're looking for, the bidders that have supplied the bids, that responded to the questions, maybe have shown up at an actual required session, on-site visit, as well as provided the lowest price can be determined to make that decision of the winner. The next slide. So once that, as I just mentioned, that award is actually determined, if you are part of the winning bid of an ITB, a purchase order will be processed immediately, sending you, and that'll be your notification that you won the award, as well as the RFP. That will be a communication out looking to start those processes and providing those services. Some of the things that may be part of that review process is, maybe I didn't win the award. We do have a public records request process that you can actually reach out to and fill out and learn more about everyone else's submissions to help better prepare yourself for the next opportunity that does present itself. Some of the resources that you may definitely want to take an opportunity to take a look at. Within our website, Department of Administrative Services, our procureohio.gov. That is our main landing page for all procurement activities. There is a bidders and suppliers header section that definitely want to look at, because what that does is provide a wide range of resources to assist you on understanding how to sell to the state, maybe how the state's actually purchasing, using Ohio Buys. There's a current public catalog, and the list of resources goes on and on. We also do offer a monthly webinar once you've made a decision to look at participating in maybe some future bidding opportunities with the state of Ohio, where we talk about accessing and navigating Ohio Buys and these at probably at a lower level than what we're talking about today, really kind of filling out those profiles and those company requirement and contacts. And then we get into responding. Like if you find an opportunity, we can really dive into how to fill out all the necessary grid items, as we call them. And then obviously if you participate in the contract, might be an opportunity for there is a revenue share that we have to learn how to do some reporting. But if you have any questions regarding a process with Ohio Buys, procurement practices, the bidder and supplier issues we've got listed here, our contact center Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can drop us an email and we will reach back out to you to help walk you through this process, to help you get to where you're trying to get to be successfully placing a bid for an opportunity with the state of Ohio. All right, so again, just a reminder, make sure you're registered, make sure you populate that profile, make sure you get the OHID associated to all those people that are supporting you in your business to help do business with the state of Ohio. And if you have questions, please reach out to us. We're always here to help.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. James. And next for our third speaker, Ms. Karen Wivell has served in the Ohio Apex Accelerator since 2013. She currently serves as the Central Ohio Associate Director, covering 20 counties in Central Ohio. Ms. Karen received her Bachelor of Science from Kent State University and has more than 30 years in corporate, nonprofit, and public sectors, including in marketing, administrative, and procurement roles. Just a reminder, attendees, if you have any questions, the Q&A option at the top right of your screen, click on that and go ahead and type in any questions you may have. With that, please take it away, Ms. Karen. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Hello, everybody. I was asked today to come in and talk to you about working with the federal government. So we're going to be going over some basic things on what you need to do and how to find opportunities with the federal government. Next slide. First of all, finding opportunities. The federal government uses a variety of websites. There's more than just one. The most important one and the one that has the most bids for anything valued at over 25,000 that's out for open bid is posted on the website sam.gov, and that's what we're going to be going over today. So sam.gov, government, federal government likes acronyms. SAM stands for the System for Award Management. Again, it's anywhere where they value their contracting opportunity, be it for goods or services. If they value it at over $25,000, it automatically must be posted on sam.gov, even if it's posted on some other websites. It must be posted there. For a small business, the key dollar figure for you to look at is anything under $350,000. In the federal government, anything valued between $15,000 and $350,000 is supposed to be automatically set aside for competition solely for small businesses. Next slide. This is what the SAM website looks like. If you do a Google search and look for sam.gov, you might get some for-profit websites that are going to charge you a fee to do this kind of work in sam.gov. It is free of charge for you to utilize. Anyone can go there and put this slide for you to know what sam.gov looks like. So let's say you're just wanting to look at what opportunities are out there. You're going to hit that search button at the top of the page. Next slide. Then it's going to bring you to this screen. Then you're going to go to where it says contracting. You'll click on that button. Next slide. Then you're going to click on contract opportunities. Next slide. The nice thing on sam.gov is it allows you in this bar, the search bar area, occurs on the left-hand side of your sam.gov screen, and allows you to filter for opportunities that pertain to what you want to offer. You can filter it by keyword. You can look for opportunities for place of performance, meaning where's the contract going to be done. You can filter it to look only for opportunities here in Ohio. The federal government uses two types of codes to classify their opportunities. NAICS codes, which they talked about with the city of Columbus. That's the primary code that you need to know for the type of business you are. Every solicitation has a NAICS code attached to it, and we'll talk about being a registered vendor with them next, but knowing your NAICS codes is really, really important to look for those opportunities. They also use product service codes. I'd say those are really more important if you're a goods supplier. NAICS code identifies what type of business you are to the federal government, but those product service codes identify what types of products or services you offer. And some of those NAICS codes can be, if you're any of you familiar with it, they can be a little broad. So PSC codes let you drill down a little bit more. There's a drill down for you to look for set aside type. So you can look only for opportunities for small businesses. So you're not competing against large businesses who might have a leg up on you, especially in pricing. There are various notice types that the government uses. In the federal space, there are market research types, solicitation types, and more that you can drill down and look for all those types of events. They even have a notice type for events that you can look for in sam.gov. Next slide. These are the types of set-asides that are mandated by in the federal government. Small business. Small business is a self-certification through registering your business with the federal government in SAM. Again, they use the small business size standards that were talked about with the city of Columbus. Varies by NAICS code, either by sales volume or number of employees. Additional set-asides are hub zone. That's area based. It's based on your zip code. And if your business is located in a hub zone based on census tracts, and you can look up if your business is located in a hub zone. If you are, then you need to look at your employees. 35% of your employees must also reside in a hub zone. if you meet those standards, you can apply. That is an application. Once you've already self-certified as a small business, you can then apply for hub zone certification. That's done through the SBA. SDVOSB, Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business or Veteran-Owned Small Business, another certification that is done as an application. Again, you must be self-certified as a small business. It is done through the SBA as well. There's women-owned small business and economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. Now, that one is only for certain NAICS codes, where the federal government has deemed there's an underrepresentation of women-owned small businesses. So you must meet and go and do a little research if the NAICS codes that apply for your business are within the WSB or EDWSB certification. And the last one is 8A. That is mandated for minority-owned businesses. On that one, you must be in business at least 2 to 3 years. Unfortunately, though, right now, the federal government hasn't approved any new 8A certified businesses for almost a year. Just so you know, I know there's currently some legislation working its way through Congress where they're trying to eliminate 8A and WOSB certifications. But right now, both those certifications are mandated by law. They are still accepting WOSB certifications. I've been seeing them go through, but I haven't heard of any new 8A applications going through since last August. So stay tuned. Next slide. These are the various types of notices you can search for. I'm going to talk about each of these. Sources sought. That is not an opportunity to bid on. Neither is request for information. But those are really important notices to look for. Those are when the federal government is doing market research. They're wanting to find out, are there any small businesses out there that can do what we need to have done? Responding to these is letting a federal buyer know you're out there and your capabilities. You want to read through the sources sought or the RFIs, request for information. If it's something you can do, always respond. It's marketing yourself to someone you know buys what you have to sell. And I have seen personally from clients who have responded to these where the bid notification, when it did go out for bid, they utilized their knowledge and expertise to rebuild the bid notice to make it, and it made it more advantageous for them to go after because they're looking for the information. They want something, but they don't know what to do. They're looking for your expertise. So always respond. You can look for award notices in SAM. What's that tell you? It tells you who's been successful in getting the work that you're interested in. It's giving you the list of prime contractors that you could possibly team with or other small businesses that are getting work. Great information. Pre-solicitations, solicitations, combined synopsis solicitations. Pre-solicitation is giving everybody, hey, we're giving you a heads up. This is about to come out for bid. Here's what we're looking for. So if you need to pull together a team, they're giving you the heads up and giving you that time to get prepared to go after that solicitation when it goes out for bid. It's the solicitation and the combined synopsis solicitation where it's actually out for bid. The special notice, that is when they utilize that to talk about events that might be coming up, any outreach events, like say with the VA or some other federal agency that they're doing a small business outreach event. They'll utilize special notices. Other types of things, if they're giving sole source awards where they're not putting it out for competition, they're putting it up for under that type of notice. So that gives you the different ideas of what you can look for and what you can utilize them for when you're searching in SAM. Next slide. If you want to bid, however, you've got to be registered in SAM. Anyone can look at the notices, but not everyone can bid. You must be registered in SAM. It is a two-step process. First is getting what's called a unique entity identifier. Again, another acronym, UEI. You get the UEI. In order to get the UEI, you're going to need to provide documentation to prove your legal business entity, how you've registered most likely with the state of Ohio, showing you're a true legal business entity, your legal business name, and your legal business start date. Typically, they're also going to want to know your legal business address. So if your registration with the state of Ohio doesn't include your legal business address, you're going to have a list of other documents that they'll accept to show your legal business name and your legal business address. Step one. Then they assign you a UEI. Then that allows you to apply for grants, but not contracts. If you want to apply for contracts, you have to go to stage 2 and apply for the CAGE code. It is free to get registered in SAM. The Apex Accelerator program is here to help you get through the process. It's not for the weak of heart for everybody, but we do assist you at no cost to you. We do not offer contracts. We provide assistance in government contracting. So we help you go after prime government contracts and subcontracts. We do that with free one-on-one client appointments. And we do it through a lot of group training events. We're hosting events every month on talking about various topics at the federal, state, and local level on finding opportunities. Next slide. This is my contact information. I'm here as a Central Ohio director, covering those 20 counties around Columbus, but there's an Apex Accelerator office that covers the entire state of Ohio. And one of the nice things too, I didn't put on my slide, is we have a free daily bid match notice program where once you become an Ohio Apex Accelerator client, we have a bid search profile that we set up for you, helping you prepare and look for opportunities for bid. It looks at all the federal websites, but it also looks at state and local government websites for opportunities to bid, not just in Ohio. Just as James is talking about, he's got businesses on all the states across the country. We've got companies here in Ohio that look for bids in other states, and we help them with that process. You just have to register to be a client. And my website there is below on how you can register to be an Apex client, and all of our services are at no cost to you. That's it. Thank you.
And thank you, Miss Karen. Appreciate that wonderful presentation for all of our presenters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we've reached our Q&A session, Q&A portion of our webinar. So I will we don't have any questions, it looks like, in the chat yet. So I'll just go ahead and start things off. We'll bring our presenters back and just ask a few questions here. And they'll reply one by one. Let's see. First question, does a business have to be in existence for a certain amount of time before they can bid on opportunities with your agency, department? DaWanna, can you go ahead first, please, if you don't mind?
Hi, yes. For at least for our certification, you have to be in business at least 1 year. To register as a business, I would say it's similarly close, but vendor services would be able to really specify, but I believe at least 1 year in business for us.
Okay. Ms. Karen or Mr. James?
Well, since we are here to assist. If we have some brand new startup business, especially in the technology sector, they're just launching. Typically, we'll work with any business here in Ohio, as long as you're an Ohio-based business. We'll help figure out where you are in the process of your business. If you need assistance, cash flow or other things, we have resource partners that we look out to, but we'll advise anybody on where to find opportunities, what you might need to do to accomplish to go after government work.
Similar for us, I think we look for business with anyone. So if you have a business and you want to register today and there's an opportunity today, sign up, put your bid in. I will say though, if you place a bid and you accept a bid and you don't go, you can't follow through that, maybe the project's too big, or that can be a detriment to you, and you could be in a department opportunity where we don't really do, we look other businesses because you put yourself in a bad situation. So perhaps making sure that you can meet the needs of the solicitation, reading the RFP, the IT, really reading all the terms and conditions and understanding them before you enter into a bid. But at least with Ohio Buys, you can withdraw that that opportunity. But
Mm.
sign up today and bid today, I guess. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Thank you. Next question. What is the biggest mistake made in bid submissions that business owners need to pay close attention to? Maybe we'll start off. Ms. DaWanna, please go ahead again. Thanks.
I'll always say reading the details. If it has a limit, a page limit, adhere to that. Again, it's the smallest error that can get you deemed non-responsive. So you literally have to pay close attention to the specifications of the proposal. Don't have too many pages. Don't have more graphics than you do detail. But again, also in the areas where it shows you where the highest scores are being attached to whatever category. If there's a score that's 20 some points, don't slack on that section. That section is the largest part of your proposal. So you want to make sure you hit every section as hard as possible, but specifically those ones where it's showing you where they are placing the highest weighted score to that section. Make sure you're really robust in your responses.
Thank you. Mr. James State.
Yeah, I would say exactly what she said. I really have to just read the terms and conditions, read the solicitation. There may be some site visits you're required to be there in person to then bid. And if you don't show up, then you can't bid. As well as I'd say for the state of Ohio, we have multiple agencies using Ohio Buys, placing solicitations. Look at the end date, the time the bid is supposed to be submitted. It varies. Department of Rehabilitation and Correction from Department of Natural Resources to the DAS. We may say noon, they say 3 o'clock. Some may say 8 in the morning. And if you don't have your times right, you will miss an opportunity for that. So take time to read and just respond and answer all the questions, because a missed question can weigh against you and not get you to the next step, to at least be considered. So
Thanks. Ms. Karen.
Yeah, I'm going to be a ditto on all that. Read, read, read. Read everything, but I follow that up with be realistic. So read everything, and we help you. Like one of the things I do with a lot of my clients when we're reading through the solicitations and helping them make that no go decision. Be realistic on, do you have the cash flow to perform? Do you have the resources to do it? Don't think, oh yeah, I can do it. I can get that. Have it before you bid, because you don't want to be debarred. You don't want to lose a contract once you get it. Make sure you're reading, do you have the certifications if a certification is required? Really read through it thoroughly and be realistic on what you can do, because you don't want to get a contract and not be able to perform. That is worse than not getting a contract at all.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Are there bid opportunities set aside for small minority? Yeah, women, veteran. I think you guys touched on that. Are there opportunities for a post-bid meeting / debrief if a bidder is not the winner? Ms. DaWanna?
All right. Yes, that is something that a lot of businesses are not aware that is a very good opportunity to follow up. I actually have a vendor that asks for debriefs when they win the contract or when they lose the contract, just to find out, what we did good and what can we improve on. So yes, the city of Columbus has access to debriefs for any department that has an RFP. Again, the purchasing website will direct you to how to submit a a request for a debrief. Also, the City of Columbus has offered a dispute and mediation process, which again, I'll share that link because a lot of businesses don't know who to contact with their specific questions. So either going through our purchasing website to request a debrief, or also going through our dispute mediation and resolution services, you can also put in a request for a debrief.
Awesome. Mr. James?
The state of Ohio doesn't provide a debriefing opportunity. What we do provide is a public records request opportunity that for you as a business to follow up and ask for information regarding those decision points. Maybe it's the price point, maybe there's information that's out there that can help you better understand how to know your business for the next opportunity. But unfortunately, we do not offer those activities.
Okay. Ms. Karen?
Yes, the federal government is mandated to offer debrief. To get one, you must ask in writing, which would be via email. Once you get notified that you did or did not, if you did not get the contract, you have 3 days to respond to request that debrief. And I loved how DaWanna said that she's got clients that ask for them even if they get the contract. And I tell my clients to always do that too, because then it gives you that opportunity to talk about more clearly expectations moving forward.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay. Not sure if you all touched on this. Can a potential bidder participate in training sessions/workshops to learn how to submit a bid at the local, state, federal level? If you touched on this, my apologies, but Ms. DaWanna, please.
So the City of Columbus does not have a formal process, but we do utilize a lot of our business partners to educate and train on the bidding process. But specifically with the City of Columbus, we are a decentralized purchasing entity. So everyone in the departments buy things differently. We will have individuals in each department that will also allow businesses to sign up with them to kind of walk them through that process, as well as myself. This is something, again, through our new dispute mediation and resolution services. If you cannot access the specific department, by contacting me on that dispute form, or and again, I'd hate to say that it's a dispute because it's also for inquiries. If you have a general inquiry or have a specific ask, you would also do that through that service. And again, depending on the nature of your question or the resource that you need, if I cannot provide that, then we will definitely refer you to our list of business resource partners that will train and educate on that.
Thanks. Mr. James?
We do provide training once a month on a webinar. I did when the one slide I was going through. We do have a monthly webinar series where we do it's live question and answer opportunities for those who are interested. We do have a plethora of training resources, whether that's learner guides. We have small job aids that walk you through each step by step of a whole process, whether you want to respond to it or build a profile. We also have a support desk where my team manages probably about 4,000 to 5,000 calls a year, working with suppliers and having conversations about how do I do this or why can't I do what's this error mean? So we walk through that in quite a few different ways. We have resources and things like this where we get a chance to get out in the community and talk to people and let them know about those resources and information. But as an instructor-led training, we're looking at an opportunity in the future to bring people into a classroom, a virtual classroom, to really kind of hone through some of those experiences so you're better prepared for those. But that's something in the future we're hoping to provide from the state of Ohio's perspective.
Great, thank you. Ms. Karen?
Yeah, we do a lot of trainings. We bring in resource partners like James and other people to go through bidding processes on various portals like DaWanna. I know we're working with the City of Columbus on some things. Our Central Ohio team currently, we're doing bi-monthly trainings with a deep dive walkthrough for Defense Department DLA, how to put in bids with the Defense Logistics Agency's bid board system. We do that on a bi-monthly basis. But very specifically, a lot of times what we will do, other than broad terms, we work with clients one-on-one and do that deep dive read through of the solicitation notices, the bid portals, and walk them through how to bid and read through the documents and give them that one-on-one attention to make sure they're going after something that makes sense for them.
Oh, great, great, great. What suggestions would you offer to a new business owner that is considering doing business with their agency, department, or government, and maybe they provide a product or service and they're just not sure? What suggestions would you give to them to do research to find out if they're a good match or not? Ms. DaWanna, please.
Again, I always like to rely on our business resource partners because everyone is in a different space or place in their business, whether you are an entrepreneur just now starting to investigate going into business, or if you're midway through being a business owner. There's a lot of back office support and resources that is needed. So we heavily rely on our corporate partners and our business community resource partners, because they will provide you step by step what you need to do for where you are trying to go. So even with our partners at the Department of Development with the City of Columbus, as well as with the state of Ohio, and Franklin County, all of our partners here on the call. We have various resources internally as well as externally that we regularly share. So I always, even though I will do one-on-ones with businesses, I'll do a discovery meeting with you, find out where you are, and then I will also follow up with a list of resources, because it's such a rabbit hole that you can go down. As you know, as soon as you think you're getting acclimated with one thing, something else comes up, and then you're like, I never thought about this, or I didn't know this existed. So whether it's never hearing the word capability statement, and one of the first things us government buyers always say is, do you have a capability statement? And then I realize when certain businesses get this blank look, it's like, okay, don't worry. It's a resume of what you do. But even if you don't have it, let me get you to someone that helps you write a capability statement. So yes, we again really, really heavily rely on, and this is why our partnerships are very strategic and collaborative, because there are some things that overlap, but then there are certain things that, again, one entity may provide a resource that a business doesn't even know anything about. I know one of the questions we may get into also was just how to differentiate the certifications, the agencies, the benefits of each agency. So I think we all do a very, very good job in not only sharing resources, but collaborating with one another on this is what's out there, or even saying, hey, we need to do a lot better collaboratively to get this word out or to do these type of trainings. But yes, I definitely provide a very comprehensive list of business resources.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mr. James, what suggestions would you give to a new business owner considering doing business with the state of Ohio and seeing, if their product or service is a good fit for the state?
I would say first is knowing your business, knowing what you can provide. And we said it a couple of times. I think that's really important, because what you need to do after that is to look at current contracts that the state has. Through our public contract portal, you can look to see if that particular widget or service that your company does provide is under contract. You can look at those pricings. You can look how that's structured, what exactly asked of them, and you can actually see when that contract's going to expire. And that helps you prepare kind of like how to work with the agency. A lot of contracts are sometimes 2 to 3 years because of what the amount of work we've put in to get them. They're not just yearly or quarterly or monthly. So it's just kind of knowing that cycle, but also understanding that we do have opportunities to work directly with the agencies. Each agency has a direct purchase authority that they can purchase goods and services up to a certain dollar threshold without having to come through our agency to check for permission, to check for things. So it's an opportunity. That list of people is on our procureohio.gov website. You can reach out to Department of Natural Resources, and maybe your widget or service has something that's a benefit to that particular agency. And that's a conversation you can have, as well as the cooperative purchasing members. We do have the political subdivisions all across the state, your K through 12, your local fire departments, libraries, villages, townships also purchase through our contracts. And that's another opportunity to consider doing business, not just look at one, but cast a larger net of opportunities so you can be aware of those opportunities and not just focus on maybe the federal or the city, the larger cities and or the state, just being aware of other opportunities. So, but just knowing your business and doing the due diligence to make sure that price that you have assigned matches what the current contract is offering.
Awesome. Miss Karen, new business owner considering to do business with the federal government. Any suggestions?
Sure. Well, I loved DaWanna's comment about capability statements because any new client that comes into me, that is the first homework assignment I give them if they don't already have one, to create one, because that gets you thinking about your business and what is it that you truly strategically can offer to government buyers. Then typically we'll go in after that and I'll teach them how to do the market research, not just using Ohio Buys or the city of Columbus, because I teach them how to do both, but we'll also go into a lot of the federal websites and take a look at all the federal contracts, and we'll look at what agencies buy what they have to sell. Who are the companies that they're currently buying it from? Are they competitive, to help them make the decision on where to go after the work? Is it whether to go after it as a prime contractor, or let's look at who you're currently getting, who's currently getting the work. Can you compete against them? If not, could you be a subcontractor or a teaming partner to them? And that capability statement is my roadmap for that company and helping decide where to target. And it's a living, breathing document. And after we do that market research fund, they may be changing their capability statement. So I loved that. No, yeah, first thing.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great advice, everyone. Okay, let's see. We have a couple of questions in the chat. One for the UNSP SC/commodity codes on an Ohio Buys profile. Would it be better to include as many specific commodity codes as possible, or is it fine just to have the general code, for example, 80111 versus 8011601 or 602, etc.?
I would say it's your personal preference. If your item is very specific to that code, you can put that. We do send communications based on the 4 digits. So the first 2 sets of codes. After that, it could be all zeros. We'll notify you within there. So but you will get a lot more notifications if you do not provide goods or services that are from that 4-digit down to the 8-digit. So this is something that's managing the email notifications, but we do try to make sure all 4 digits and below are notified of notifications, but you can specify the full 8-digit code if you want. That's what you provide.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next question. How do we get in touch with you to meet about best way to position our business opportunities to be of service to the city, state, and Fed? So I think you guys touched on that. You have anything to add to that as far as who to contact? Okay, great. Let's see.
I'll just
Oh,
say,
go.
my website, the website that you need to register as a client for us to assist you is on my slides, which I believe you're going to get, but it's apex.ohio.edu. All you got to do is register, and then one of our counselors will help you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. And for the state of Ohio, Mr. James, would one of your partners be a good place to reach out to, like, I don't know, minority business assistance centers or you know, SBDCs, just for the state of Ohio in general, or to have your procurement services office or
I guess depends on what you're looking for, what your question is on who to partner with. It'd be great to work with
okay.
Apex. It may be great to
Mm,
work with the SBDC, the MBAC
mm,
groups across the state of Ohio.
mhm,
Other liaisons are great too.
mm,
Even with
mhm,
our Department of Development, they do manage our statewide certification for MBE
mhm.
and EDGE programs. So that would be a group you would have to reach out to get questions. But you can reach out to our general information line and we can get you at least directed and make sure you're getting the right person to talk to on
Mm,
that question. Hope
okay.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
And
Okay, Mr.
I would
Warner.
add on the business resource page that I will share again, State of Ohio, Columbus Urban League, MBAC Center, all of those agencies are going to be listed on there because, as James stated, it really depends on what specific service you need. So the websites are going to be there that will take you to their main portal, and then it will identify what sector you will need. So that will be shared and it will encompass city, state, and county resource partners.
Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, well, we will definitely share that with all your registered attendees when we get that, as well as the link to the live recording and the PowerPoints if you want that as well. And Jennifer, if you could just do the last slide there, and we'll go ahead and close it out. I don't see any more questions. We just appreciate your time today. Just wanted to take a moment to just highlight our next webinar, which will be held on June 16th in the morning. It's on building a skilled highway construction workforce, and we'll focus on on-the-job training programs. So we'll have some prime contractor, Great Lakes Construction, Apprentice Ohio, and a representative of the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services as speakers. So if you're interested in that topic, we would love for you to join us. If not, we appreciate your time and we'll send out an email regarding our next one after June 16th as well, starting in July. So thank you for attending, everyone. I will be in touch again with the link to the recording and the documents from the City of Columbus. So appreciate it. Have a great day and good luck as you pursue your business with the local, state, and federal governments. Have a great day. Thank you.